Hey, welcome back. Thought I'd do a quick video just going through one of the races which I did end of last year. And the reason I want to go through this because it was like a really useful sort of tune-up race for one which I had this year, which was the Arc 100. So the race was UK Ultra Winter 55, and it was a tough one because basically on the same day the weather forecast was shown as the storm Darragh basically decided to creep in on that exact day, which made it really tough. And so a lot of the preparation had to be sort of tweaked for wind chill factor of up to -10 and up to sort of 80 mile an hour winds. And so we knew it was going to be a challenge when you saw the weather forecast. And so yeah, I just want to go through how it went. I mean, I did it the year before and I came third in that race. But due to the weather, basically they had to change the start and finish line, and so it was more like a 50 miler. So yeah, this race, it was December the 7th, 2024, and I mainly chose it as a tune-up race because it was a perfect sort of timing of year with the Arc about a month and a half afterwards in the following year. And also the distance was a perfect sort of distance for tuning up for 100 miles. It's got about 7,500 foot of climb. It's basically it was about 50 miles because with about 200 plus runners. And yeah, it was going to act as a great final long run before the beast of the Arc coming the following year. So the start and end line had to be finished, was basically changed because of the wind. I think the company who originally was going to put the marquee up just said there's no way we're doing that. So they had to find a sort of brick building along near the start line. So they chose East Dean Village Hall, which was about 2.5 miles along the course. So it was 2.5 miles in, and then it meant it was 2.5 miles less. So it was 5 miles less than it would have been. So I booked a cheap hotel in Eastbourne Seafront a long time before that, and so it was nice to have that. But sleeping in this hotel, basically you could hear the wind and the rain hammering at the windows during the night, and trying to get some sleep before the race I really felt for the 100-mile runners who are running through the night, because they also do 100 one. So it must have been really tough for them with those crazy winds and the rain. So yeah, woke up, breakfast, usual sort of 500 mils of electrolytes, the pH 1500, precision fuel and hydration ones. And then there was an energy drink which had about 80 grams of carbs. I tested out a bicarb mix as well. Not sure if it worked, but yeah, I just thought I'd try that out as well on race day. And then I had a taxi starting, which was booked nice and early to get me to that new start line in Easting, which was at the village hall there. So yeah, arrived there, managed to get there nice and early, got the tracker set up and the bib and all that sort of stuff, and trying to get the kit all set up. So for the race, as usual, I'm used to the South Downs, so I thought, oh, this is going to be pretty runnable, and it usually drains pretty well. But I was totally wrong, because I ended up by going with these Agravic Speed Ultras, which when they're new have only got 2.5 mil lugs on the middle bit, and then I think it's 3.5 on the outside bit. And these are worn. These have got like 260 miles on them, and so there's very little traction on these. But I thought, due to the rocker and the bounce and all that, and being a bit of a super shoe, that I'd get away with it. But boy, was I wrong. These I was slipping all over the place with these. But yeah, we can talk about that later on. I had the usual Salomon Sense Pro 10 hydration vest, 10 litre one with the mandatory kit, and they had like 500 mils of electrolytes, 500 mils of water on the other side for the electrolytes, for the hydration flasks. And due to the wind, it was about protecting from the rain, the wind, and so I wore like a long sleeve Montaigne dark lights base layer with a like windproof gilet over that, and then I wore the waterproof Montaigne Stretch Ultra waterproof over the top of that to try and protect me from the elements, because you really needed it. I'd rather play it safe from the start. Also, gloves wise, I was wearing like a base glove, a liner one with, and then over the outside of those, I had these waterproof Salomon mitts just to try and protect from the wind chill. And even with the sort of waterproof jacket done up to the top and cinched in, it was your nose sticking out. It was just crazy how cold it was with that wind chill. And you end up by just, I mean, we ended up by having to slipstream with some of the runners just to take it in turns at the front, and it was just, it was crazy how windy it was. I mean, running through that storm, I mean, it was certainly a character building tune-up race, should we say. So yeah, basically, what else? I was wearing Fuji Trail half-tight shorts with like loads of storage options at the front to get a soft flask in at the front, as well as the two on the hydration vest. And so basically there was a drop bag which was allowed at Offham, which is mile 30.5, which had changed from the year before. It was at Glynde the year before. And so I took a mental note of that, and with that I just had nutrition and hydration and stuff, so I didn't put any sort of shoes, or for a 50 mile you shouldn't need shoe changes or anything like that. And yeah, that had the last 20 miles worth of nutrition in there and hydration and stuff. So the race, how did it go? Well, from the year before, because I came third, I was trying to win it basically. So I went out hard at the start, and very quickly there was a little lead pack of me and two other runners, a guy called Johanna and Jack. And so we went out hard. I was within the first 2 minutes, because you actually walk out of the village hall and you start on this massive hill. And within the first few minutes, I knew I'd wore the wrong shoes, because I had very little traction. I was slipping all over the place. And so there was a lot of excess energy sort of wasted trying to just get some sort of traction in some of the areas, because there was a lot of rain a couple of weeks before that, and I underestimated how bad it was. So yeah, went out hard into the lead pack. So what else? Shoe wise, basically, I think Johanna had like 6mm lugs on his shoes. Jack had some 4mm lugs on his, and he was sliding around even with 4s. And so yeah, I needed at least 5. So I'll definitely do a different shoe change. So yeah, I fell over about 4 times, and luckily it was soft underground, but you land on a rock or something, you can really do your hip in. So it would literally, your foot would just go and you'd be gone. And yeah, so we all stayed together for around 30 miles running, sort of yo-yoing between sort of first and second and third, all that sort of thing. So yeah, Jack was looking really strong. He's got a very good marathon PB, so you could see that he was running strong, and he was so underdressed, but it was hardcore. This guy, he was quite cringeworthy. Like with the wind chill, he was there in like shorts and t-shirt and stuff. Didn't have a jacket on or any sort of gloves or anything, and I just don't know how he endured that really. But I think it got to him by the end. But yeah, he was pretty hardcore. Whereas me and Johanna had all this sort of jackets on and everything. So yeah, I ended up by going wrong way about 4 times, where I missed junctions and just carried on straight, which was really demoralising, because I lost the lead a lot of the times. I'd take the lead or whatever, and then went the wrong way, and then you'd have to backtrack and you'd see the person overtake you, and it's really frustrating. But because it was so cold and the wind chill, I just almost was not looking at my watch as much as I would have done, because it was it was a really tough race. But we slogged on, and so yeah, with 80 mile an hour winds, we're totally exposed. I mean, the slipstreaming with the other runners was crazy, because you get close enough to them, and then there was like a vacuum with the wind blowing straight at the first person, and you'd almost get pulled into the person in front, which I've never experienced that sort of vacuum where it would pull you in, and you sort of knock them and apologise, whatever. But it was madness, but it was definitely character building. So I got to Offham, where the drop bag was, and I asked for some information as like, oh, is this the drop bag location? Because I wasn't looking at my watch as much, and I was told that it wasn't, and I stupidly took that as the correct information, so I pretty much ran through that aid station without realising that I hadn't picked up my drop bag for the final 20 odd miles of the race. So that put me at a real disadvantage as well. So I was under nutrition, so then I had to be reliant on going into the future aid stations as the top up, instead of just carrying it and running through to save time. Yeah, I mean, basically, yeah, I got to there. Jack ended up by slipping and strained his groin, and he tried to slog on, but he slowed down a bit in the last maybe 15 miles, which I really felt sorry for him. So we sort of helped him off the ground, but he wasn't running properly after that. But he definitely looks almost the strongest for the first half. Then Johanna took the lead and held it to about mile 44, whereby we both went the wrong way. He was about a couple of hundred metres ahead. So I called him back to say, you're going the wrong way. And then we saw this other guy slowly sort of drift past us, sort of really accurately checking all the junctions on his phone, using his watch, wearing the right shoes, which were the Mafati Speed 4s, which had really good traction. And he was looking strong. So he ended up by taking the lead, and me and Johanna were just in second and third. And so, yeah, eventually we slogged on to the end. We had about 10k to go, and yeah, made podium again. I was third again. Johanna was second, and then this other guy was in first. So there were so many mistakes on this race, but as a tune-up race, I suppose we got what we wanted out of it. But looking at the positives, yeah, it was a great, savage long run to prepare myself for the Arc on the Cornish coast, which was coming up. Because the Arc's obviously in the midwinter, so you never know what conditions you're getting. So this was just, yeah, it was just wild. Lots of people couldn't believe we actually went out running in it, let alone doing an ultra and spending over 8 hours running in it. Yeah, and also don't always go for the fastest shoe. I mean, basically I chose these due to speed, but in this situation, traction and comfort are more important. And that helped my decision for the future Arc in the choice of shoes for that as well, because it can make a huge difference, especially when it's been raining so much and you really need those lugs. I mean, this is what I should have worn. I should have been wearing the Mafatis, which have got really deep lugs and cutouts, which give amazing traction, and they're super comfortable. And that's what the winner was wearing. So yeah, that was a big thing. Yeah, basically navigation wise, just even if it's freezing cold and your watch is sort of within your jacket, where you need to just keep checking your watch at turn points and make sure you go the right way. Yeah, what else? So keep the carbs and electrolytes topped up, because in the latter stages of a race like that, you're going to be having cramp sort of creeping in, which is going to slow you down, which is really annoying in some cases. So I shouldn't have missed that drop bag location. It was just stupid of me. Yeah. So what else? Gels wise, I was using the Precision Fuel and Hydration mix of some caffeine, but mainly the normal 30-gram gels. I had chai bars. I had a pack of crisps, a pH 1500 electrolytes. I've had some salt tabs as a backup. There's no crew. And then if needed, I topped up at some of the aid stations. But it served its purpose, this race, but it's definitely one to sort of talk about at the Christmas dinner table because of the running through Storm Darragh was just crazy, but it was good. Yeah, it was character building. So yeah, onto the beast. That's the Arc 100 in late January 25, following year, or this year I should say, and so that's going to have a similar sort of report, and that one was an amazing race. So I really look forward to hopefully getting some information across to you guys, and of how I planned to execute it. So yeah, that was Winter 55 UK Ultra. Thank you very much. Great organisation as always. Just to keep the show going in those conditions was crazy in Storm Darragh. And yeah, thanks for listening, and tune in for the next one.